All right, welcome you guys. My name is Skyla Mann. You guys know that, but there may be some folks on here that I haven't met yet. And we are going to be talking about how to live lighter tonight. And that's a heavy topic. But it's going to be fun though, because we're going to figure out how many different parts of our lives this actually touches. And I think that as we start to unpack this concept of living lighter, things are going to come together. Because, you know, sometimes when you can connect the dots and you're like, oh, that's why I feel stressed when I go in this spare bedroom. That was one of the things I heard the most from people when I asked, which area do you dread decluttering the most? And it's that extra room where inadvertently everything gets tossed and the door gets shut. How many of you have a room like that?
I was just going to say, I'm beyond.
We have several. Okay. Well, you know, it can happen.
All cleaned out.
Yes.
I didn't move into the next area and everything goes back. Everything, a lot of it goes into the clean area. Until.
Exactly. So we're gonna discuss something that is gonna sound so obvious, but what is clutter? Okay, it comes in more than one form. Okay, so I'll just say that we are going to talk about the impact that it can have on our mental health, which is really important, but I think it's something that we don't want to admit. Okay. And then we're going to talk about why it happens. Okay. Because clutter is not always an accident. Sometimes it is on purpose, believe it or not. And then we are going to learn about a few Young Living products. And believe me, there could be a lot more, but we're going to learn about a few products here that are going to make our living lighter process a little bit easier. Okay. So are you guys ready for this? Are you ready for this? All right. The crowd is primed. Here we go. I love it. All right. So let's talk first about what is clutter. Okay. This seems so silly and basic, but we got to start there. Okay. So clutter refers to any physical items that are strewn about in a disorganized fashion. Okay. In general, clutter is a collection of items that we accumulate in our homes and we don't necessarily use, but we like to hold on to them anyway. Okay. Now, if you answered yes to any of the following questions, chances are you might have some degree of clutter in your home. Okay. You do not have to raise your hand. I can tell by the faces that, so no need to raise your hand. Okay. Do you own anything that you never use or no longer need, like clothes that don't fit or old electronic devices? Okay, we have some hands going up, even though I said they didn't need to. So you guys may relate too. I see a few heads nodding. How many of you have a junk drawer of things that you know you're going to need, but you someday, but you rarely use? Okay. Do you ever find yourself buying new items to replace ones that you have lost in your house? This is the one that makes me the most sick. Oh dear. Okay, we're having true confessions now. Okay, this might be a different level of clutter. Do you lack access to certain spaces in your home? For example, you might not be able to open the door to your basement or park in your garage. Okay. Fill in the blank. Okay. And finally, are you hesitant to have house guests because of the state of your home? Okay. So and I'll be the first to say your home does not have to be spotless to have house guests.
Right.
Okay. But there is a level there sometimes when I know people are like, we can't meet at my house just because. So you decide. Okay. Now here's another interesting thought about clutter. Do you guys ever think about it being digital? So it may be that you never get around to clearing out your email inbox. How many unread messages do you have right now? Or how many photos do you have to deal with that are unorganized and tricky to find? Or maybe duplicates, or they're junk, they're screenshots of something. Exactly. So just looking at your computer might overwhelm you. And here's what you got to know, you guys, is that can create stress, which even though you can't see it, you don't know how many unread emails I have on this computer, right? It looks so slim and sleek, but I know, and that can cause a level of stress in my head that you guys have no idea what's going on up here, but it weighs heavy on me, right? And so all of us can be in that boat, and it's not a great feeling. So let's talk about the impact that clutter can actually have on our mental health, because it is not insignificant. I want to tell you, okay? Clutter impacts our physical spaces in an obvious way, okay? That we can see, we can touch it. But some people do not realize that clutter can have a negative mental health impact also. Of course, not everybody is impacted the same way. For instance, someone with perfectionist tendencies is likely going to be more stressed out by clutter. But becoming aware of how much clutter you have and whether you experience any stress as a result, you will be able to better discern if there's an opportunity for you to change up your physical space and improve your mental health at the same time. So, the impact that clutter can have on our mental health, it can increase our stress levels. Okay, just stepping over stuff, opening doors and having things fall, that's not fun, right? So ideally, our homes are a place of refuge. They're a place of rest where we go to recharge. However, clutter can make it hard to do that. So one study found that women who reported more clutter in their homes had higher levels of the stress hormone called cortisol. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, throughout the day compared to women who had less clutter. Now, I didn't bring cortisol with me tonight, but we do have a supplement that helps lowering cortisol levels. But I am forever going to be a big proponent of getting to the root. So I don't want you just to take cortisol and not go home and declutter. Okay, that is not the answer. Okay, save that cortisol for bigger fires. Okay, another impact that clutter can have on our mental health, and I think this one is very common for a lot of people, it can cause difficulty focusing. Now, can anybody relate to the fact that if you have, let's say you have a big project or something that you need to get done, but you can't start it until the kitchen counter is cleaned or until the living room is picked up? I am that way. Like, I have to have certain zones clean before I can go to my office and like work, because otherwise I feel like in the back of my head, I know that when I go back upstairs, it's going to be there to greet me. So even if I'm not looking at it, I still know it's there. It's very weird. But clutter, it's just distracting, right? Our brains can only focus on a limited amount of stimuli at one time. That's one of the reasons I actually love doing classes here, is because there is a very limited amount of visual stimuli. And it's an easy place to come and focus, which I kind of appreciate. If you're surrounded by clutter, when you're trying to work from home, the clutter can actually make it harder for you to focus and think clearly. Another impact on mental health is procrastination. Anybody relate to that one? Research shows that people with cluttered homes tend to procrastinate on important tasks, like getting your taxes prepared, maybe this time of year, possibly. You might have to dig through stacks of papers to pay the bills, or you might have so many piles of dirty clothes that it feels overwhelming to start the laundry. Not the case. Okay, that's good. So just saying that if you get buried too deep, it might look like you have to climb a mountain to get out. Okay, why does clutter happen? Why do we let ourselves get to this state? There are actually a few ideas, or I don't want to call them excuses, but some low-hanging fruit here some reasons. Thank you, Judy. So one reason might be difficulty with relationships. It's not uncommon for spouses, partners, or even roommates to argue over whether one person's things are taking up too much space. Okay. Now, if you live alone, you do not get to use this reason or blame it on Snook. Although
His toys are all over the place.
I will agree with that 100%. We do not have a dog at home right now. And I am telling you what, we feel that freedom. Like when you come back home, everything is exactly where it was when you left. It is amazing. Sorry to remind you of what pre-puppy life was like.
Oh yeah, toys all over the floor.
But that is a valid roommate though. Okay. So with relationships, it can cause an added strain if your clutter is an annoyance to the person you're living with. In addition, if you're not inviting friends over because your home is cluttered, you might feel a sense of social isolation or even shame. Okay. Another reason that it might be a problem is because perhaps you have trouble controlling impulses. So there was a study that found that a cluttered environment combined with an out of control mindset triggered participants to engage in unhealthy eating behaviors. In other words, the research suggests that it can be more difficult to control your impulses when your mental health and your environment are stressful or chaotic. And that can roll over into a shopping addiction, which automatically results in more stuff. I think people, we tend to fill voids with whatever quick dopamine hit we can get. And so if it is acquiring stuff that makes you momentarily feel better, that can add up so quickly. So we need to get addicted to like walking or something more productive. Okay. And clutter can easily lead to a nearly constant feeling of frustration as you struggle to complete daily tasks, because the time that you spend looking for stuff or attempting to organize your items could be time spent with loved ones, taking care of yourself, or just relaxing. So in another study that was done, particularly among older adults, it said that clutter led to a decreased overall life satisfaction. So we don't want that, right? We want to be filled with joy when we go into our spaces and be proud of, the place that we call home. So there is good news. Okay. That's all the yucky news, right? We had to get through the muck, and honestly, we have to own what we've created, be it good or bad. So when we clear our home, we are simultaneously clearing our mind, and that is good news. Okay. So clutter creates chaos, which impacts our ability to focus. Because it's a form of visual distraction, it can cause cognitive overload. If your space is unorganized and filled with clutter, it's difficult to focus, but the opposite is also true. So when we clear our spaces, we are freeing up space in our mind, and we are giving ourselves kind of a visual vacation from all of the stimuli that can distract us. Okay. Who wants more energy and more space? That's kind of a no-brainer, right? So everything that we own and bring into our homes takes up some of our time because we have to take care of it, either putting it away or dusting it or feeding it or whatever, right? And some things are absolutely worth it. Do not get me wrong, but there are some items that no longer serve us that we could do without. And it's so true that the more things we have, the more things that we have to clean and to organize and to manage, and trying to stay on top of it all is what kind of weighs us down a little bit. So decluttering, the whole process of it, when we start, it increases our self-worth in our eyes. It creates healthy habits, and it boosts productivity. So all of that is good news, right? And I will add that it creates a snowball effect. So I started last fall. In September, I started on a little mission that I was going to declutter every square inch of our house. And
That wasn't a little mission.
it wasn't, but I started with small places. So like I would start with a drawer. And this is my theory. If this works for you, adopt it. But we have lived in the same house now for about 26 years. And we do not have any plans on the near horizon to go anywhere. So when you stay in the same place for that long, I'm a firm believer that you have to pretend move. Because all of you who's moved, say in the last 5 or 10 or 15 years, okay, you have all taken everything out, sorted it, pitched, moved it, decided what you wanted and what you didn't. Those of us that have stayed in our house forever, we can ignore that, right? And so I decided I'm going to pretend move, and I'm going to do it one cupboard at a time, one drawer at a time. And I highly, highly recommend this process because it is not overwhelming to take a room and break it down by individual spaces. So I literally went through every dresser drawer. I went through every kitchen cabinet. I went through the garage. I went through the storage closet. I mean, everything has to come out. You got to look at it. You got to decide what's worth keeping, and then you reorganize it. And sometimes I'm like, why is this garage thing in the kitchen? It needs to be marched back to the garage. And so it gives you a chance to find all of those stupid lost things that you bought to replace. Like, hey, look at this. Now we have 4 hammers. How about that? Right? So that is one very practical Skyla tip. Just if you're not moving in the next 2 years, just go ahead and pretend. It's very helpful. So the other thing that I want to say is that Young Living has made it delightfully simple to do a little decluttering in our cleaning department. Okay. Prior to Young Living, I used to have a cleaner for the tub, a cleaner for the mirror, a cleaner for the wooden furniture, a cleaner for the stove. That was really bad. Cleaner for the counters. Like you all know, because at one point in your life, you were probably pre-Young Living too, right? And now the beautiful thing is I've got about 3 different things. So one of them is Thieves Household Cleaner. And if all that you take away from tonight's class is the reminder that this one product will literally transform your cleaning life, but it will also transform the amount of space you have under your sink or in the top of your linen closet or wherever you keep your cleaning stuff. It's so nice to have one bottle that does it all, right? So, that one, Thieves Household Cleaner provides peace of mind by using only plant-based and naturally derived ingredients to effectively clean your home without taking any synthetic shortcuts or using potentially harsh ingredients. The other thing I really appreciate is that when we have had dogs walking all over our floors, now that we have grandkids coming and they're on the floor and licking, Lord knows, everything, it is so reassuring to know that they could take the cap off the darn bottle and sip it. I'm not going to encourage that, but if they did, it's not going to kill them. Okay. And that's the kind of stuff that I want to have in my house. I don't want to have anything, because quite frankly, I do not want to put locks on my cupboards. And that's just a nuisance for me. So if I can prevent that, I'm going to. Thieves Household Cleaner is perfect for just about any surface, and it's infused with Young Living signature Thieves Premium Essential Oil Blend. And the best part is when you use it, it smells like you've been baking in your house because there's this delightful aroma of cinnamon. And I've actually had people come after I got done cleaning my hardwood floors and say, "Oh, what are you making?" And I'm like, "Clean floors." They were so disappointed. So, but it does smell really good. Okay, another little shortcut that will save you some time. How many of you have tried these? These are the Thieves wipes. And these have become my best friend, especially when we're traveling. Okay. I'm going to open this package so that you guys can sniff it. You can take one out and feel it. Okay. They're kind of like baby wipes, but instead of Seedlings Calm, it's got Thieves on it. And I love keeping one of these in the car because you can take them out. It's really nice to use on leather seats or on the dashboard. Anytime you have any spills, even just rubbing your hands, you can just throw them if you want to. Sarah's a good cat. Oh, I thought you would, maybe not. But they're great to wash your hands with. If you get into some sticky stuff and you just need to clean your hands, I love using them for that. So they're quick and convenient. They freshen small surfaces at home or on the go. Non-greasy, non-drying formula easily cleans up everyday items such as kitchen countertops, bathroom seats, or office telephones. They also are infused with that Thieves essential oil. They are fast and convenient and a great answer for everyday messes. One wipe will leave your surfaces smelling fresh and clean without any rinsing. So can you smell it? They're a nice alternative if you don't have a bottle of Thieves cleaner in your car or wherever. Okay. Now, one of the newer products in our Thieves lineup that I am a big fan of is this Thieves Kitchen and Bath Scrub. So how many of you have used this one? Okay, we got a couple. So remember the old Comet or even soft scrub? That's what I was raised with. My mom was, I swear she owned stock in soft scrub. She loved that stuff. This is the scrubbing agent that can take off grime around the bathtub or in the kitchen sink. If you've been washing greasy dishes and you've got a little residue, this is phenomenal. Okay. And you can also make, oh, that was a nice little puff of powder there. Sorry about that. That one happened to be open. You can also make a paste out of baking soda, the Thieves cleaner, and I put in some lemon and peppermint. I know there's all different kinds of recipes. I saw one today that was lemon and rosemary, and I thought, oh, that sounded good. But you can make like a soft scrub. We call it magic dust. Yeah, yeah. So, but that's also really good to use on any of those surfaces to clean. So the important thing is that we are dealing with no toxins, no synthetics. We just
Safe for your septic tanks.
yes, and that is important.
It's really good to sprinkle a little bit in the toilet.
There you go. So safe for septic tanks was what one gal said here. Oh, there you go. Yes, yes.
That's a little bit dependent.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, the other cleaning thing, oh, we've got, Alice said she scrubbed showers with it last week. That is nice. Did you do glass doors? Yeah, it's wonderful. Yep. For that one. Okay, another one of my favorites that is also very multi-purpose is the Thieves dish soap. Okay, this one is absolutely wonderful. My hands used to get so dry in the winter from washing dishes over and over all day, that my knuckles would just be cracked, and it was not comfortable in the least. So you absolutely, you can dilute it if you want to. So with naturally derived grease cutting ingredients and the fresh citrus scent of jade lemon and bergamot premium essential oils combined with Young Living's Thieves oil, the Thieves dish soap is perfect for your clean lifestyle. It's free of the typical sulfates, dyes, and synthetics found in many dish soaps. It is plant-based, and the formula leaves no harsh chemical residues. It is gentle but powerful, and it prevents over drying of your skin and will leave your dishes sparkling clean. I also have a few friends. I have not tried this yet, so you guys will have to let me know if you've tried it. But I have a few friends who absolutely love using this as shampoo every, like, once a week or once every 2 weeks as kind of that cleansing, to like strip off build up. Yes. So my hair is pretty basic. Goes without saying. So I don't use a lot of stuff, so I don't feel like I have needed to do that. But they say that it is the perfect texture and makeup. So
We have like a lot of hair product or whatever.
correct. Yeah.
Who knows?
Right. So if you ever want to give that a shot, there you go. Okay. Now I want you to think for just a moment about those spaces that we talked about. I put a post in the event earlier. The room in your home that you dread the most. Okay. I just want you to think about stepping into that space, or maybe it's a cupboard, wherever that might be. And I want you to just do a little check. How's your motivation level mentally as you think about stepping into that space? Does it seem overwhelming?
Blinders.
Donna's got her blinders on in a good way. Like,
No.
okay. Okay. So it isn't the easiest perhaps to get started. So here's what I have good news. Okay. There are 2 essential oil blends that I feel like are a magic combination for just this occasion. Okay. And those 2, this is my secret weapon. I have been using this since the time our girls were young and I was homeschooling them. Okay. This is our friends' energy and motivation. Put them together in your diffuser, about 4 drops of each, and get that thing cranking. And I am not kidding. I have had children. This was a few years ago. I don't know if kids are different these days, but I had kids that would just kind of be like, I'm going to get out the vacuum and I'm going to start vacuuming. And Another one would kind of jump on board and be like, well, I'm going to do the windows. Now, granted, they kind of enjoyed, I don't know why, they kind of enjoyed those activities. But if you need a kick in the pants to get stuff done, or another family member needs that, don't tell Brian, he'll never listen to this recording. But this morning I got up at 5 o'clock and I loaded 6 diffusers in our house with these 2. Our house reeks in the best way of motivation and energy right now because he had and he has a lot of things on his to-do list and he needed a little bit of motivation. And you know what, you guys? He got a lot of stuff checked off today and I'm not going to quit. I will never tell him. It's my secret. He will never watch this. But this combination smells different than any other oils that you are going to be diffusing. It will not smell like thieves. It will not smell like orange. It is spicy and it's different. And I am not kidding you. When you put that in there, it's kind of like, okay, I'm on high alert now and I got to get stuff done. All right. So this is my tip. You load your diffuser the morning that you're going to go address this room. Then here's another Skyla tip. Okay. This works really, really well. You get yourself a timer, either on your phone or a good old fashioned kitchen timer, and you set your timer for, I don't even care, something less than 30 minutes. Okay. And you're going to play a little game with yourself. So let's say you set it for 15 minutes. Okay. That's not a ton of time. Our attention span can generally last for 15 minutes, right? And I want you to go in guns a-blazing, like your tail is on fire. And I want you to see how much you can get done in 15 minutes. Okay. When the timer goes off, you step out of the room, you go get a drink, step out, get some fresh air, and then back at it. And then try another 15 minutes. But there is something different when you turn it into a game. Remember Mary Poppins? How did they clean? It was snap. It becomes a game, right? I might have been influenced heavily by Mary Poppins earlier in my life. It's a true story. I'm still waiting for those drawers to open and close on their own, right? But I'm not kidding. If you can have fun, even by yourself, and just say, okay, I bet in 15 minutes, I can unload all those shelves and I can lay it out here on the floor. And then in the next 15 minutes, I bet I can sort it into piles of keep and pitch or donate. You just break it into bite-sized pieces. Okay. That's all you've got to do. And once you get one drawer done, you're going to feel like I can stand a little taller. I just did one drawer, right? Britta just put in the comments that she went through kitchen drawers yesterday. Yay! It's so awesome. And it feels so good, right? So, and here's the deal. We're never going to be done because we always have stuff, right? So don't get caught up in perfection, but your goal is to lighten the load a little bit so that your things have a little bit of breathing room. Okay. This was a silly move and I'm not done yet. I will be totally honest, but I just took every single towel and bed sheet that we own that is not currently on a towel hook or a bed. I took all of them out of the cupboard and off of this bookshelf that they were being stored in because I said, listen, there are 2 of us now. And occasionally we're going to have the kids home, but we literally do not need 43 bath towels. I mean, it's out of control. I'm still using bath towels we got for our wedding. That was in 97, kids. They're good ones, apparently. But I'm like, guess what? We don't need that many. And my linen closet is going to be able to breathe now because of it. And that it's so much more fun to put things away when it fits and you're not like, oh, slide one more in. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So, and the same with bed sheets. Like, how many times am I going to change the bed in a week? Not exactly. You only need two, flannel and other. Okay. So motivation, that essential oil blend has Roman chamomile, Northern Lights black spruce, ylang ylang, and lavender. Okay. And I mean, Roman chamomile is a tranquil aroma that will help you unwind. Northern Lights black spruce is grounding, connects us to the earth, and it uplifts the spirit. Ylang ylang, well, it sets the mood for romance. We don't get to do that until we're done decluttering. Okay. It's a sweet smell, right? And lavender, of course, is calming and tranquil. So that motivation is really a very grounding, like, I think it gives us a starting point. Okay. And then energy is a blend of Idaho balsam fir, which has empowering properties, nutmeg and black pepper, which are energizing, and rosemary, which is stimulating. So they make the best pair ever because motivation grounds us and gives us a place to start from, and energy just helps us take off and run. Okay. Now, something else that you're going to need to be comfortable with during this process is releasing. Okay. Well, guess what? We have an oil for just such an occasion. And that is the OG bottle, my friends. I just found this in a drawer. That's the old label, just in case you wanted to know how it was back in the day. Okay, so we are releasing stuff in terms of clutter, but we may also need to release some limiting beliefs that say, I don't have enough energy for this work, or I don't even know where I'm going to start. Like, we can release those thoughts. Okay. So release is an emotional blend found in the Feelings collection. And this blend, did you realize, is made up of 16 essential oils? Releases. So get a load of this list. We're not going to break each of them down, but ylang ylang, lavender, geranium, royal Hawaiian sandalwood, grapefruit, tangerine, spearmint, lemon, blue cypress, davana, lime, ocotea, jasmine, German chamomile, blue tansy, and rose. I don't know that I even realized until I was preparing for this that release had rose. I know, it's such an interesting, it is an interesting one. When Britta just led the reboot class, and release is part of that protocol. And I was telling her afterwards, it is so fascinating. I've done reboot 3 times now. And each time I do it, when we get to release, that oil smells completely different than it did the time before. There is some wild, like, emotional connection. And this most recent time, when we did it, it smelled so sweet to me. And I was like, that is so interesting. So no, not in that one, but it's in the Feelings kit. Yeah. It is so nice to have the olive oil as the base. It is already blended together with that. So one of the things that you need to get comfortable with is releasing stuff. And we talked about this just a little bit at the beginning, but when you declutter, you're going to more than likely have 3 piles, 3 options. You're going to keep something, you're going to donate something, or you're going to throw something away. Okay, those, and maybe there's another option, but those are generally the 3. So I want you to, you guys, have you heard of Marie Kondo? That phase kind of flew by. I heard a funny thing on the radio this morning that Marie now has 3 young children, and she's changed her whole tune on getting rid of everything, which I think is hilarious, but it's like life kind of kicked in for her. But the principle is still true, I think, that if you have a thing I don't even have a thing to grab here, but let's say a pair of shoes. Okay. And you loved these shoes. They served you well. Maybe you took them to Europe and you walked all over in those shoes. But the reality is you haven't worn them since you got home from Europe 4 years ago. And you may never wear them again, but gosh, your memories, they're so good. And here's what I think. You need to seriously take a hold of those shoes, hug them, tell them thank you for the great walks that you had, and invite them to bless someone else if they're in good shape. Okay. Let me tell you another tip though. If you have something that is tattered and torn or stained or broken, don't burden the people at the DAV or at the Goodwill with that. I promise you they have enough garbage to go through to last them a lifetime. Just go ahead and thank it and dispose of it. Okay. Nobody wants broken stuff for the most part. Don't look at my Facebook page.
Commit the day before garbage day.
Right.
So you get rid of it and you're not looking at it for 5
Oh.
days before garbage.
Oh, that's such a good tip. Well, yeah.
Or donate some too. It's like,
And
okay,
get it.
mine's going to many hands the next
Yes.
day.
Yes.
Because if it doesn't,
You
it
don't.
might find its way back into wherever.
Yeah. You don't want to keep it in your garage for
Nope.
6 months,
Nope.
nor do you've seen that meme where it says, I'm decluttering
Well, I don't know if it's shrunk or what, but
and now I'm going to give them a ride in my trunk for the next 6 months, right? And they've got all these bags in the trunk, and like that's so painfully true, but you're not kidding. If you're going to throw something away, by golly, get it out to the trash bin. You're not going to pull it back in, but make a plan. The sooner it gets out of your house, the better. Even if you have to call a friend, because your friend isn't going to go through the bag probably. Well, some might, but anyway. Anyway, I'm a big proponent in making your piles to keep, donate, or throw it away, and then just move it quickly. Okay.
How are you applying the release? I do.
Oh, so the release, yeah,
Or
release is wonderful in the diffuser. Okay. But only after you've done your energy and your motivation,
Yeah.
right? But I like to put a little bit of release behind my ears
Okay.
and on my wrist. I really do. And you can also just kind of hold that release bottle in your pocket, because did you guys remember that the oils have an energetic frequency, and even just having them on our body, like in the bottle, it makes that energetic frequency work. So that is a good idea. Britta wants you to repeat your tip. Judy's tip was, well, I think Judy's tip was, when you are cleaning out, it's really smart to do it the night before trash night, so that you can go directly into the trash bin and not having it sit in your garage for 4 days where you might go reconsider and pull something back. Oh, amen. Yeah. When you clean out your refrigerator and you're decluttering that, that's a great night before trash. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Okay. Now the next one, we have 3 more oils. The next one that I believe serves a great purpose here is clarity. Okay. I love to put clarity right across my forehead or on the base of my brain stem. This has a very, very fresh, clean, it almost reminds me of fresh green grass. Maybe because it comes in that nice bright green bottle. But clarity has cardamom, which has a clean, refreshing, invigorating aroma. It has geranium, which is uplifting. It has peppermint, which traditionally is known to increase mental accuracy. And it has rosemary, which is known to amplify mental ability and boost alertness. So we could just go straight to rosemary. What was that? Is that me? Oh, we have, seriously, it was so cool that I didn't think it was fun. Okay. So clarity is another great one. You could diffuse it if you want to, if you like that. But I like to just swipe it across the forehead and on the brainstem. Next up, we have common sense. This is another OG bottle here. I pulled this out of my Aroma Complete. Clearly, I could probably use common sense more often. But I still have that bottle. That's probably not a joke. But common sense. How many of you guys have you used common sense this week? Is it just me? Oh, Alice has. That's
Or this month, or this year.
I know. We should be spraying it. Crop dusting style. Okay. So common sense is a blend of frankincense, ylang ylang, ocotea, goldenrod, rue, dorado azul, and lime. It has a focusing aroma that is perfect for diffusing while making decisions when in meetings or at work. So its name is pretty darn self-explanatory. It would be another great one to diffuse. You can put it in your pocket. You could put it on diffuser jewelry. It could go on the temples or on the base of the brainstem. You can't go wrong with these for sure. But I do think during this process, if you get overwhelmed with emotion, it's a good time to pull some out and say, okay, hang on, let's regroup. What is my ultimate goal here? Slather some common sense. Okay, back at it. All right. And last but not least, this is my favorite blend, transformation. Okay, I do go through this a lot. I love the smell of this. I really do. And you know, when we had transformation headquarters, we diffused so much of this that when I smell it now, I swear that is the space I think of. Oh, I love it. So transformation is a powerful blend formulated by Gary Young. And he said, transformation is a wonderful blend for your home diffuser to set up the frequency for transformation while you write down your goals that you want to achieve, where you want to be with your health, your belief system, your attitude, and your financial condition. Maybe you are writing about your marital status or your personal feelings. Just write down where you are now and where you want to be and what you would like to become through this transformational year. You still have most of the year ahead of you if you start now. So, as we are thinking about tackling one area first and then moving on to others, it is not a bad idea for you to make a game plan. So I'm going to invite everybody for just a couple of moments to strategize. There is no wrong answer here, but I want you to make a plan of where you're going to begin. So you might choose a room, and within that room, you might choose a cupboard or a drawer or a cabinet. You might choose to attack digital files first. Don't know, whichever is kind of hanging over you the most. But have you guys ever heard of the principle, eat that frog? Do you know that idea? So if I told you that every morning when you woke up, or every day, sorry, that at some point during the day, you had to eat a frog. That's just our new protocol. You have two choices. You can either wake up and just choke it down, get it done with, and move on with your day, or you could dread it all day long and be like, oh, I know that's coming. I don't want to do it. I'm going to anything but. And finally at 10 o'clock at night, you're like, oh, I have to, right? So when we think about eating the frog and decluttering, I say, whatever stresses you out the most, go do that one first, because guess what? It's going to create this cascade. You're going to be like, I actually did it. I did the hard one first, And now everything else suddenly looks slightly less intimidating. Okay. So even in your toughest space, just think about one little nugget of that space. Okay. I'm going to zip it for just a minute. I want you to make your game plan. Where are you starting? And what's next? Go ahead and jot a few ideas down. All right. Thank you, Christine. She even jotted down in the chat where she was starting. So we've got one vote for bathroom drawers. That's a great place because it's small, but oftentimes I don't know about yours, but ours gets so filthy throwing hairbrushes. And when the girls were there, all the hair ties, and it's like, how can this be so dusty in here? It gets that way. All right, Diane, excellent. Very specific. The south wall of her closet. I love it. My to be filed pile. Oh, Rachel, I feel you. Why is it that piled? It just builds so quickly. Yep. Oh, good job, Sandy. Her bathroom closet is done. Wonderful. Well, I still have a few more tips for you. Do you guys all get something? Sarah, where do you want to start?
Well, I started doing this last weekend because I was off Thursday and Friday.
Excellent.
So I started.
Okay.
I just bags of clothes.
Oh, my stars. That's
I
huge.
have a master room bedroom closet.
Good for you.
They don't fit me or they're not my thing anymore. Like not my style, but I'm like, somebody else could easily use them.
Amen.
So I did that, and then I moved over to the bathroom and I did both bathrooms and both linen closets. And I got rid of towels and rugs, and I mean, again, things that I don't use, but that somebody else could.
Yes.
I did the kitchen pantry.
Okay.
And I
That's
organized
huge.
it, so like I put on each shelf has a purpose now, so
Yay.
like the one shelf, this is all baking stuff, and then this other one is breakfast, and this one
Did you
is like
sleep
snacks.
at all?
I worked on this maybe 10 a.m. to about 10 p.m. Thursday and Friday. But it looks so good now. Like all the stuff is gone, and I'm like, I can see the floor in some of these that were,
Yeah,
I'm
so proud of
and
you.
Snow just slept through it. He was no help.
You
So,
no help at all.
It's like
That's
you
okay.
come and be like, oh, you're still doing it. Okay, I'm going back to bed.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So it feels good though. I will testify that.
Yes.
It does feel really good to
Good job.
do that. But over years of going to therapy, the therapy folks, they say 20 minutes is what you should aim for in terms of see how much you can get done and make sure that you accomplish something, even if it's not as much as you wanted to, but you still accomplish something, therefore you feel good about yourself because you did actually get something done. And that helps you mentally to keep doing it. Even if you only do 20 minutes a day, it's still something that you get done.
It's moving in the right direction. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So I still have shoes to go
Good
through.
for you.
That's the only thing that's left.
Good for you.
So,
no kidding. Sarah's on for teaching this next time. Donna, where do you want to start?
Well, I've already done a lot of this stuff. I cleaned out my dresser, and I haven't worn a bra since 1999. I decided I should throw them away. They wouldn't fit anymore anyway. But yeah, I'm working on paperwork, getting ready for taxes.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just going. It's like, why did you keep that?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I have a whole list of things to do, and yes, it is overwhelming, so I need to focus on
Yeah.
one at a time.
One at a time.
It was kind of fun throwing the bras away.
That's good. That's very freeing in more ways than one.
Huh?
In more ways than one. That's very freeing.
Again, I didn't think I should give them away.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they're heirlooms. Maybe we should call the historical society. No. Okay. All right. Okay. How about you guys over here? Do you want to share where you're starting?
Yeah, I want to continue in the hot closet that I started a little bit on last week.
Excellent.
And you know, when you were talking about sheets and towels and all that kind of stuff, and I've done that previously.
Good,
So that
good.
part was okay. But I had tons of placemats and
Oh, yes.
cloth napkins.
Yes.
And I went, okay, some of these, you know, I've used a couple times
Yeah.
over the last how many years. I have this 16 sets of placemats
Wow.
of varying, some are cloth, some are not cloth, some are you name it, 16 complete sets of placemats.
This is
From
hospitality
8,
right here.
I mean, from 4 to 8, depending on what the
my
stylist was. And four different sets of cloth napkins that went with a bunch of these that I
Oh,
used to use a lot. And I just
bless
said,
your heart.
they're just taking up room. They
Yeah.
are literally just taking up room.
Someone
in my
will
closet.
use those.
They're done, they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna wash them and iron them anymore.
Good for
Done.
you.
So, you know, off
And
to-
did that feel?
absolutely, but you know, I have like
Great.
other shelves in that closet that are still
Yeah.
looking at me.
Okay.
So that's where I'm gonna continue.
Cool. Good job. How about a starting
I'm
point?
gonna start in my basement family room.
Okay.
Ooh,
We moved 2 years ago and we haven't used the room because my husband moved his tubs and stuff in.
Gotcha.
And he just left them there.
There.
And so other things have gone down there and just didn't know where they should go. And my granddaughter's having her 13th birthday there next Wednesday.
Oh, what a good motivator.
I need space for 5 girls to sleep in that room.
there you go.
And
I love
so
it.
I'm off to do that.
I love it. Good for you.
That's great.
Good for you. That's very powerful to have a deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super smart. Exactly. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up with some very practical tips. Okay, we've already covered the first one, which is start small. All right, and many of you, even you guys online, you have started doing stuff. I mean, I know this is kind of a recurring thing, but good job. We want to boost our own confidence that we have the chutzpah to do this, right? So when you start small and you have a little success, just like Sarah said, it gives you the courage to go on to the next step, okay? The second thing is it's okay to ask for help. So you might have a family member or a friend, or even, believe it or not, there are paid professionals who love to organize, and they can be. I actually did hire one time when I was in the throes of homeschooling, and there were so many different bins of manipulatives and craft supplies. And I just thought, I'm going to get eaten alive by this if I don't get some help. But here's what was cool. I watched and learned how they, like, what their process was. And now I don't feel like I'll ever have to hire anyone again, because I can now do exactly what they did, which was dump it all out, put it like things together, decide what you want to keep, and then you wrangle it in a container and you label it. And after that, it was like, oh, well, I guess that wasn't so difficult now, was it? Third thing is, if you're having trouble parting with something, especially like children's toys or clothes or artwork, take a picture and then put that picture somewhere other than the 35,000 photos on your phone. But take a picture and make a scrapbook of childhood memories, because I promise you, they're not going to care if you have every toy that they ever loved or every dress or overalls that they ever wore. At least mine don't. So, pictures take up less space than the actual thing. Decide what you're going to do with your unwanted items and then get them out of your house. We already talked about that too. Some other ideas might be local homeless shelters, women's shelters, or, Judy, what was the one you mentioned? Many Hands. Many Hands is a great thrift store. In West Des Moines, we have the West Des Moines Community Center where they have, things are very reasonably priced for people and sometimes free. So we oftentimes take things there. Of course, the DAV, Salvation Army, Goodwill, there's
Every something on 100th Street or over there. Free care,
yes,
That's where I took all my clothes.
it's by Changing Places. Yeah, but I can't remember the name of it. But it's right across the street from like
Yeah.
Amish House Furniture.
Post office.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, good tip.
I'll remember what it is.
Okay. And then kind of going along, somebody said something about doing a little bit, maybe that was you, the 20 minutes every day or every week, but give yourself the gift of consistent time. So maybe you just build it into your schedule that every Tuesday morning you donate 30 minutes to this task. And I have a feeling that you're going to get addicted to it and you're probably going to want to revisit it more than once a week, especially once you start seeing the progress. But that can help. We talked about using a timer to make the sessions more fun and manageable. And the last tip that I'm going to give you is something that you're probably going to think is ridiculous. And some of you are going to be like, never. But there is such a thing as time-lapse photography. Okay. And there's an app that you can have called Hyperlapse. And I'm sure there's a ton of other ways to do this. But how many of you have seen on social media, you've seen people like, here, I'm going to tidy up this whole room in 8 seconds, and they've sped up the process. So if you want to make it into a total game, get your kids involved and tell them you're going to make a movie. And then you set the camera in the corner of the room. You go about it at your normal pace, but then when you're done, you speed that thing up 10x and it's hilarious. And then you have some free social media to put on the web. So put on the line. That's my final tip. I am so proud of you guys. Most importantly, I'm proud of the 4 people in the room because when we started about the mental clutter and all of the drudgery, nobody in here was smiling. And now everybody is smiling. And it's like a miracle. So I hope above all that you leave feeling empowered. Okay. And if you don't feel 100% empowered yet, get your oils, douse them, pour some Believe on your head. These are the tools that we have been given. And so we got to use them not just to ward off the crud, but we got to use them to make life more enjoyable. Okay. So let's see here. Oh, Alice says, I pay my daughters to help me. That's a wonderful way to pass down their inheritance. I agree. Britta says she gave a bunch of craft supplies to a daycare. I love that idea. So freeing, and it saved them money too. Absolutely. And you guys think about, if you've got a church that has Sunday school classrooms, I can almost promise you that their budget is probably not very big, and probably the Sunday school teacher is buying their own stuff. So if you come upon a package of popsicle sticks, I'll bet you they can turn those into the nativity scene in December. So donate those things. That'll be good. And libraries too, if they have children's programs. Yay. Every step. Thank you. Okay. So if you are local, there is a wonderful, is it a consignment or secondhand?
It's like it's basically a thrift store.
Okay.
Kind of
So there's a thrift store on 100th Street called Every Step.
Giving Tree is what.
Giving Tree. Okay. Lovely. Well, there's all kinds of good options.
Can I
Fantastic.
say I found a good
Yes.
carpet recipe?
Oh, would you?
Recipe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Share.
Put it in
Do
a
share.
canister thing, and then you sprinkle it on your carpet. So it's 3 cups of baking soda, 3 drops of peppermint, and 3 drops of purification. It's amazing, and it's okay for pets.
Yay. That's good. And
That's good, cause
And,
there's sneaky
um,
ones.
Purification.
that reminds me, I did bring these three, which are three of my favorite resources.
Purification and peppermint, okay.
Purification, 3 drops of each, yeah, purification and peppermint, and then
Okay.
3 cups of baking soda.
Love it. And you can just get one of those little, like a Parmesan
Purific-
cheese shakers. Shake
I just
that
make it
all
in a
over.
canister, like I buy my baking soda from Costco, and I just make
Perfect.
a huge batch,
Okay,
and I put it in a canister, and then I have a, oh, it is, it's like.
I
how many
know,
pounds,
13
right?
pounds or
13 pounds or
something,
something.
I get it too.
But then at least you have enough
exactly.
of it,
All
and
your-
I just make a bunch, and then I take a. It's an old, like, where you have, you have salt, you know, to melt the ice, like it has the little.
Yeah, absolutely.
Top. So I just use that container to put it in, and then I can sprinkle it that way with.
Brilliant.
Just drill holes in the top of that.
There you
I
go.
could do that in the lid.
That's how I.
That's what I was thinking, a little sifter.
Oh, yeah.
You just walk.
Take your flour sifter and go like
Does
this.
it get lumpy or anything with when you add the oils to the?
No, cause it's not very much, so you have to stir it
Just
together.
stir it up.
And it kind of just dissolves together. into it, yeah, it doesn't really get clumpy. I have never had to do that, but.
Love it.
All right. Oh my goodness, so many good ideas. Britta says there's Parmesan shakers at Dollar Tree.
Oh, nice.
Love it. Love it, love it. All right, you guys. Well, I hope you feel inspired. Keep us posted. If you want to have accountability buddies, you are more than welcome to use the Living Lighter event page. And after you declutter a space, snap a picture and you can drop it in there or put it on your stories and tag me. Okay. Because we want to celebrate your victories. It's way more fun. Judy's like, yeah, sure. It's way more fun to do it together. Okay. If we were all local, I'd say we should have a house tour and just go look at everybody's closets. But Judy, I wish you could see her face. She's like, not thinking so. All right. Not the closets, Britta says. Oh my word. You guys are funny. All right. I'm going to stop this crazy recording.